And then we have private contributions where science equipment has been purchased through donations from community members.
Since tuition is a large expense, we wanted to go over that one more time. It includes tuition for high school students, students attending special education schools, students who attend Monmouth County vocational schools either full-time or part-time, which is required by law. It is not a choice of the district, and it is, if the child is placed at a high-tech high school or communications high school, it certainly is an acknowledgement of their academic success. And we don't need in any way to put that process down. It is an expense to the district, but we are paying tuition to Madison as well, so either way we would be paying tuition for that student. It represents about a third of our operating budget. It is a difficult item to project, and what Spring Lake Heights projects, as well as 7 other sending districts, has an effect on how a tuition rate is calculated. So this year, Madison's rate has gone up, but it's gone up based on the projections from 7 towns. So although sometimes Spring Lake Heights may be right on the money, there may be something, some other district that is different as far as their projections, and if their projections are off, it affects everyone's costs. So it is important, and we try to stress that to all sending districts, to make sure that what one projects affects another, and it is important for all of us to try and be together and make those projections. Next year, as part of our budget, we do all adjustments to Madison of $89,350.40. This, however, the overall projection for tuition is lower than the previous year. The sending district, there's a comparative spending guide. The comparative spending guide that just came out clearly shows that Spring Lake Heights is spending $11,962 per student in comparison to Avon, who's spending $13,625, Belmar $12,580, Riel $11,109, Seagirt $17,120, and Spring Lake $18,898. So when people look at the budget and they want to know what we're spending, I think you have a very good product for a very reasonable cost in comparison to very similar districts in the same size.
Also keep in mind that the comparative costs for this year is actually $490 less than it was last year, which I think is a reflection of our very stringent spending as well as the increase in population. Achievements. These are the best 2 slides in the whole presentation as far as I'm concerned, and what we really want to focus on. As we were doing the presentation, we actually got word that we had 2 more achievements, another achievement, and Peg finally said, enough is enough, we'll have to just talk about it, no more changes. So these 2 slides are really what Spring Lake Heights Elementary School is all about, and how the community has encouraged these achievements and accomplishments of our youngest citizens. Typically, the Monmouth County academic vocational schools accept 1 student per school. That's sort of the rule of thumb. One placement per school for each of the districts, each of the schools in the county. This year, we had a total of 80 students. Now, that's a record for us, and it's really reflective of the exceptional programs that the teachers give the kids, the fact that we've been able to support those programs. It's not only a wonderful opportunity for the students, but it's indicative of the academic program offered here. We have had exceptional achievement on the New Jersey S scores. We outperform other districts within our DFD and DFG district factor group, and we always exceed the state standards by a great deal in test results, and have been able to surpass the increasing level of achievement required by the New Jersey DOE. It's not a stagnant number. They keep raising the scores that each district is supposed to reach, and we keep exceeding that score. So many of our students are involved in service to the community. From 1st grade through 8th grade, they participated in events from helping preschoolers to senior citizens, visiting the arbors, singing at holiday events, collecting for our servicemen and women, as well as the victims in Japan and Haiti. All of us should be extremely proud of these commitments that these children demonstrate to helping others. It's, again, another reflection on our community. One of our very talented 8th graders auditioned and was chosen from over 100 other students to participate in performing with the Monmouth County All-Shore Band. We have had this year many more students involved in gifted and talented programs offered through the Shore Consortium of G&T. We have to thank the foundation for their support of this program, providing the registration and transportation fees to many more students, and at least 50 were participating this year. With the training that they're receiving in art, our students from different grade levels are winning art awards. Actually, there'll be something in the regular meeting about recognizing 3 of those students. Both the boys and the girls soccer teams and the boys basketball team won their 2010-11 MCAL Division B championships. We're hosting the 30th annual district spelling bee this year because one of our 4th graders took place after battling it out with another Spring Lake Heights student. He took first place and we also took second place, and that's quite an accomplishment for an event that's participated in by about 6 different schools. Our band, although small in size, has the biggest part. This past year, they took second place in the annual American Legion Convention in Wildwood. Just this past week, an 8th grader earned honorable mention in the Asbury Park Press essay contest. And we were also just told that 3 of our students took first and second team All-American Scholar Awards offered by the Pop Warner organization. And as I was reading the criteria for this, it's really amazing. There are over 400,000 kids who participate in Pop Warner, and they have 280 first team members. That's national. And we had one of the kids in that 280. They have over 5,000 second team members out of the 400,000, and we had 2 kids in that range. And this is a truism. Spring Lake Heights Elementary School offers your children a solid education while also providing many opportunities to find ways to shine and make this community proud. I can't think of a better place to educate kids. They get a very well-rounded education as well as being offered sports opportunities, club opportunities, G&T opportunities. You're not going to find that in many other schools. And in a lot of cases, you have to go to a private school to have all of those things offered.
The next slide speaks to the general fund tax levy. The tax levy is going up 2%. It is also going up 2 cents. The 2 cents, 1.15 cents is attributed to the general fund or our operating budget. The balance is attributed to debt service, which is the debt on this building that was voted on years ago. So you're not actually voting on that. You're voting on an increase just in the general fund for the operating budget. On the average household in Spring Lake Heights, it's $457,160 is the average value, and the increase is $91.42 for the year. So it's $22.86 per quarter. Most people like to look at slides that will give them a better idea of how it relates to their own home value. So the next slide basically takes it in $50,000 increments and tells you what the impact would be annually. So for a $450,000 home, it's $80. $400,000 home, it's $80. For a $600,000 home, it's $120. So for the year. It is a comprehensive budget. It's a budget that I think took a lot of thought. It is a new budget for me, so I took it from the base up. There will be probably differences as we go through the year and evaluate the budget and expenses, but we did look through 2 years of history in developing it to try and really make sure that the expenditures
always, thank you to the organizations, the parents, and the community at large for supporting the educational opportunities offered to your children.
Public participation on our budget here. Questions? Comments?
Hi, Kathy Gordon, I live on Ocean Road. Trying to go through the numbers here. Are we asking for the whole town to pay an additional 2% to get to the budget?
It's based on the assessed valuation.
So I get that, everybody. So, I think that's very reasonable, but this is very similar to the number we fought for a couple of years ago. How do we get them to vote for that? And if they don't agree to that, which seems like kind of a minor detail here, it's a small amount of money, but I remember very clearly we tried to fight to get parents to understand how little money it was per day for their child to be here to get the things they need. Is there a contingency plan if we don't get it? And then what do we do? It's hard to really say. I mean, I'm totally on board with all of this, but I think this is not too dissimilar to a couple of situations we had in the past, particularly one that I remember very well. And I'm just worried that we have a plan. If we don't get to that, what do we do then?
Well, this budget isn't candid by any means. I mean, if we have to cut money, then we're going to be cutting essential things. There's talk in the state that they want to do the New Jersey gas tests online, which means every district in the state is going to have to be buying dozens, if not hundreds, of computers over the next 2 or 3 years. We don't have that kind of money in the budget, but the money that we do have set aside for, say, technology is just going to help our kids catch up, not get them ahead, but catch up. There are many districts in the state, right in this area, who in one summer put a smart board in every single classroom. And we've been able to buy some, and the foundation has been able to give us 1 or 2 a year, but we're still short. We still have kids who are in classrooms that don't have the current upgrade